Now, meanwhile, the religious teacher in Singapore who made xenophobic and racist posts online has apologized. This comes amid an investigation by the Home Affairs Ministry. Mr. Abdul Halim Abdul Karim apologized on Facebook for his private post, which he said was never intended to be made public. He added there were no malicious intent and that his post had been misunderstood. On January 29th, Mr. Abdul Halim said in a public post on Facebook that the coronavirus was retribution by Allah against the Chinese for their oppressive treatment of Muslim Uyghurs in China's Xinjiang province. In a later post on February 5th, which can only be seen by his Facebook friends, he wrote that Chinese people don't wash properly after defecating and were not as hygienic as Muslims. This could have caused the virus to spread. In a Facebook post today, Home Affairs and Law Minister K. Shanmugam described the teacher's comments as xenophobic and thoroughly racist. He added that such remarks are quite unacceptable from anyone, let alone someone who is supposed to be a religious teacher. Now, such xenophobia and racism are not only present here, but also in other parts of the world that have been hit by the coronavirus. In Australia, the outbreak has contributed to growing reports of members of the Chinese-Australian community there being subject to racist slurs. We have our colleague Jonathan Pearlman. Now he joins us on Skype live from Sydney. Hi, John.
Hi, Haryanto.
John, can you give us an idea of what the situation is like in Australia for the Chinese Australians there?
Yeah, so it's important to first point out that there's a very large Chinese ancestry population here. More than 1.2 million Australians are of Chinese ancestry. Many of them have arrived recently. So there's a big Chinese Australian community here. They've been really affected in several ways. I mean, firstly, like expat Chinese everywhere, they're very distressed about their loved ones back home. Secondly, there's been a definite downturn in shopping and trade in areas with large Chinese communities, so they're suffering in that sense. But then finally, as you alluded to, there's been a series of racist incidents. Members of the Chinese Australian community have reported incidents on the streets where they've been yelled at. One surgeon wrote about an incident where a patient joked about not shaking her hand. So there've been some ugly incidents, really, as a result of this outbreak.
And John, what is the Australian government doing to protect this group of people?
Yeah, so it was interesting this week. An Australian MP got up in Parliament, really an end to these sorts of obviously, short term, there's only so much that the government can really do to stop people being xenophobic and really stop to stop these sort of incidents. It'd be good probably to see some higher profile politicians get up and talk about this. There was a nice incident, a bunch of MPs from different parties went out to the Chinese community, ate lunch there and showed that these communities are functioning as normal. Dangerous.
Now we have some technical difficulties with John right now, some audio technicalities, but of course you can read more of this in John's story that is coming out later in the evening.